There we go.
Awesome. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. We have chair updates that were in the agenda. Um, so Tanya Helmick, she's been doing the secretary stuff. But she's also going to co-chair to help represent Preston County because that's a huge area that we have like a lack of interaction and there's a significant need and it's a much more rural area that's just not getting the reentry services that they need. So that's one of the updates. Another update is that we met with some of the Methodist churches to discuss their increased involvement in reentry councils and what that could potentially look like from them. The communication line is open now, and now we're just kind of in the back and forth of communicating with them, getting that information out and trying to figure out with them like what that looks like on their part, contributing and helping. So today we have Honest Jobs and Kathy Golden. Do I have a volunteer for who wants to go first?
I can go first. That's fine.
All right. Catherine, that was you, correct?
No, it's Melissa from Honest
There
Jobs.
you go. You're on my left. All right. This is Melissa Dickerson with Honest Jobs, so I am going to let her go ahead.
Great. Thank you. First of all, I just want to apologize for everyone. I actually have COVID right now, so I sound kind of like a frog. I don't normally sound like this. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this as best I can, but definitely not at my 100% today. My name is Melissa Dickerson. I'm chief of staff of a company called Honest Jobs. If you've never heard of Honest Jobs, we are the nation's largest online job board specifically focused on helping people with criminal records find employment. I have a felony conviction myself about 4.5 years ago. It was actually pending. It's a drug-related charge. I've gotten hooked on drugs and basically flushed my life down the toilet, and getting arrested was what was the motivation I needed to make changes and try to get myself back on my feet. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody to give me a job or give me a chance. So I wound up homeless, living in my van in Columbus, Ohio in the winter. So definitely wasn't a good point in my life. But at that point in time, I actually stumbled across a TED Talk that the founder of Honest Jobs had done. He went to prison himself when he was 19 and realized how difficult it was to get your life back on track when you have something in your background, and started building this website to help connect people with job opportunities with employers, with people who would consider them. So I begged him to give me a job, and thank goodness he did, because that was all that I needed to start rebuilding my life, rebuilding my self-esteem, my confidence in myself. And today I'm now chief of staff of the company. We have been working for the last 5 years to build a network of employers that will hire people with criminal records. We work with over 1,500 employers across the country. On any given day, we have over 300,000 jobs on the site. That fluctuates up and down a little bit, depending on the time of year. But it is totally free for anyone who is justice involved, who is looking for a job, to create an account and search and apply for jobs. And I'm going to show you just quickly how it works for the job seeker, so that if it's something that would be of use to anyone you're working with or anyone you meet, because a lot of people out there have something in their background. It's, again, totally free. The only thing people need is the way to access the internet and an email address. The only way they have to access the internet is a phone. Our site is mobile friendly, and about 80% of our job seekers come to our site from their phone. We've made it as easy as possible to use, because so many people come to us with very limited technical knowledge. So when they first create an account, it's a very easy process, similar to signing up to any other website out there. You provide your name, your email address, you create a password, give us your address information so we know where to search for jobs for you. And then the one thing that's really unique to us is we do ask about each job seeker's criminal history when they're creating their account. We don't actually share this out with anyone. Employers never see this information. No one else ever sees this information. But what we do, and I'll show you more about this in a second, is we use that information to help guide job seekers towards jobs where their background isn't likely to be a conflict. The employers on our site are felony friendly, but even the most felony friendly employers are concerned with things like negligent hiring. And negligent hiring can occur when an employer hires somebody into a role where that person's background is not in direct conflict with the job duties. So if an employer had a driving job and they hired somebody into that role that had a DUI in their background and something went wrong on the job and there was an accident, that employer could be liable for negligent hiring. So those are the kinds of things that employers are looking out for. It's not necessarily the kinds of things that job seekers are very aware of. So we use their background information to help them focus on the jobs where their background isn't likely to be an issue. And again, I'll show you more of that in a second, but first I'm just gonna show you, this is our job seeker dashboard. So this is a place every job seeker would land. They would fill out this information about their work experience, education, skills, and licenses and certification. It's very easy. It's as simple as adding a job title, the company name, when they started working there, when they stopped working there. Well, if they fill this information out, and they can upload their own resume. If they don't have a resume and they fill this information out, our system will populate a resume for them. It's a very basic resume, but it at least gives them something to get started with. We get a lot of people coming to us with just nothing, or like a picture of a piece of paper where they've scratched stuff out and written stuff in and just not putting their best foot forward. So this was our way of giving people something to get started with. But if they do have their own resume, they can upload that themselves. On their dashboard, they can see their detailed application history. They can see all where they applied and when they applied. They can actually download this. So if it's somebody who's on probation or parole or working with a case manager when they want to provide their job seeking activity to that individual, they can download it and send it off to them. And you can see in this demo account, I have a criminal record of a DUI from 2023, and I'll show you how that works with my job search here in just a second. One thing to note is, in addition to people coming to us and searching for jobs, we have employers coming to us and searching for job seekers. So we definitely recommend people have this information filled out. That way the employers can find them if they're looking for somebody with a specific skill set. It makes it a lot easier for employers to find the kind of people they're looking for if every person has this information filled out accurately. Once they have their job seeker profile filled out, they can go here to the job search. So as I mentioned, we are a nationwide job board, so no matter where they are, they can use Honest Jobs to search for jobs. We typically will have a decent selection of jobs anywhere in the country. Obviously, we're going to have more in the more urban areas and fewer in the more rural areas, but that's just standard for how it goes. But you can see I put in Morgantown and I'm kind of searching, and there's a good list of jobs here. These jobs change every day. For a lot of the larger employers, we have direct integrations with their backend system. So they're feeding their jobs to us every 3 hours. So we could have an accurate list of the types of jobs that are available from every employer. Just so y'all know, any employer can come to us and post up to 3 jobs for free. Then there are ways that they can engage with us in a paid manner if they want us to integrate with their systems, if they want us to provide recruiting services. We have other ways they can engage with Honest Jobs in a paid manner, but any employer can come to the site, post 3 jobs for free, hire as many people as they want. So if you know of background-friendly employers out there, please encourage them to post their jobs on Honest Jobs. It's a really great way for background-friendly employers to increase their pipeline of justice-involved individuals. We have last time I checked, we were over 105,000 job seekers on our site, but that obviously grows every day. We get about 5,000 new job seekers joining every month. So it's a lot of people that are looking for jobs with employers who will at least give them a chance. This color coding, you can see this one's yellow, this one's green, this one's red. This is what's showing how each job is interacting with my particular background. If you remember, I have a DUI on this example. So green, the system is reading through each one of these job descriptions. It's looking for potential conflicts between my background and the job duties. If it's green, it hasn't found any major conflicts. If it's yellow, there's something in there that could be a conflict. If it's red, it means there's a significant conflict. And you can see that makes sense. This is obviously a delivery driver job with a DUI. That would be a job that would be in direct conflict with my background. So it's color coded more towards red. We don't actually stop anybody from applying for any job. Even if it's completely red, they can still apply for it. It's just trying to help them to understand where they're going to have the best chance of success with getting through the background check process with that employer. We also share out on every job post the number of people out of our job seeker network that this employer has hired post conviction. So Family Dollar, out of our network of over 100,000 job seekers, 39 of them said Family Dollar hired them after they were convicted of a felony. Walgreens 27, Performance Group 9. Sometimes you'll see ones that just say fair chance. Typically those are newer employers that we haven't been able to verify have hired anyone through us yet, but their jobs are on our site for a reason. So there's a good chance that they will and do consider people with criminal records. We just haven't been able to verify it through our job seeker network. Sometimes that happens also with very small companies, like small mom and pop organizations where they only hire a couple of people and they just don't report it to us. But every single job post will tell you how many people have been hired post felony conviction. And if anyone is, you click on any job, you can read the entire job description. If the job seeker feels like it's a good fit for them, they can click apply now. In most cases, they'll be taken to the employer site to complete the final application. It just depends on how the employer has that job set up. But most of them, especially the larger employers, want to send all candidates through their standard application process. So they'll send them to their site to complete it. Sometimes for certain employers, they'll complete the application directly on our site. Just really depends on how they have it set up. You can filter by keywords. So if you were looking for jobs, if we were looking for forklift jobs, you could type that in. It'll show you the jobs that have forklift in the job description. You can search further out from any location. And that is the job search. I think I've got that pretty much covered. The other thing we have that is available for free for any job seeker is our resource center. So this is a nationwide directory of free and reduced cost social services. There are over 200,000 programs in this system that can help people find resources for housing, food pantries, phone service, really anything you could potentially imagine. There's typically something in here that will help them. So they just enter their zip code and it'll show all the programs that service that area in a variety of different categories. So if I would need a temporary shelter, I could click on that category and it'll show me all the programs that service that particular zip code. These are hyper local results, and read more about it, eligibility, availability, more details, and how to proceed to next steps. So this is really, really helpful for people. A lot of people come to us, they don't just need employment, they're having trouble with housing or, finding money to get steel-toed boots for their job. There's a whole bunch of things that people typically will need in addition to employment, and this is our way of helping them to identify some of those programs that can help them. You can also enter in keywords and it'll show you the programs, like I just entered in phone. It'll show me the programs that service my area that can help me get phone service or phones. There's some phone meetings in here as well. So that is Honest Jobs. The website address is honestjobs.com, and any job seeker can go there, just click sign up as a job seeker, create their account. Again, they just need to be able to verify an email address, and then they'll be in and be able to search for jobs that apply for them. So I'd love to take any questions if anyone has any.
Melissa, are you okay if an organization like ours is a nonprofit that adds you to our resource list of reduced services and things like that, reduced cost services?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We'd love to be included.
Okay.
We don't have a formal referral process. It's as easy as just sending people to honestjobs.com to create their account.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Melissa, I chair or, host all of the councils, so I would love to get your information so that I can have you present at some of the other councils as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm Krisha, so I'm over in the chat, so.
Great.
Yeah.
I will reach out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I just want to say I came across this and I used myself as a test dummy and I registered myself as a felon. So that way I could get a feel for how it worked. And it really was pretty self-explanatory and pretty simple. I think you'll still have some people that, I mean, it's just nature of the beast that you might come across that needs help, that you might need more one-on-one help setting things up. Just some people just aren't up to date on technology as everyone else, but I thought it was a pretty simple process. So I like the way it was laid out. So I just implore everyone to just check it out, surf it yourself. I still get job alerts ever since I started, exploring it. So functionality, it seems to be pretty functional. So I say give it a whirl.
Thanks. Yeah, the one area that we do see people struggle with more is uploading resumes. That's especially if they're on their phone, that can be difficult for them. Again, that's another reason why we did the whole resume population thing. So if they can't figure it out, they just type in the information. We will create a resume and automatically attach it to their profile for them. But yeah, we've done whatever we could to make it as easy as possible for people to use. But they will have to have at least some basic computer skills, obviously, because it's, a website and it's generally self-service. So, yep, but we did our best.
Thank you. I think it's excellent. Anything that helps. Next we have Catherine Golden with Leaf 411, and I'm not sure if anyone has heard of that. I learned the wonders of the internet. That's how I came across her last year, and I just think that the services and some of the things that she's done is amazing. And it's a little bit of a turn from honest jobs, that kind of world of things. So I will let her take it away and give you the rundown of who she is, what she does, and what she's got going on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mindy. I appreciate that. That's kind words. So I'm Catherine Golden. I am the CEO, Executive Director, and founder of Leaf411.org. We are a national cannabis nurse hotline and guidance center. Most people in cannabis, if you ask them why they're in it, there's a personal story behind it. I've been a nurse for 28 years and in cannabis nursing for 8 now. And I'm here in Colorado. This is where we originated from. And I voted against it for adult use here in Colorado because at that time I still believed the propaganda against it. There was no science until it personally hit me with a family member suddenly diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and given 2 to 5 years to live. It was almost 8 years ago. And then I looked into the science since it was really a hot topic here in Colorado. They mentioned that they would look into cannabis as an alternative, but last ditch efforts because they knew nothing about it in the medical world. So when I looked at the actual science, I was actually pretty upset that there's a lot of science surrounding possible use, harm reduction, and now it's a greater part of our landscape nationally. So I started a national nonprofit because I saw that people couldn't afford the out-of-pocket costs to see a cannabis clinician or to talk to a licensed medical professional. So that's where I started. I wanted to provide a kind of a pocket nurse for everybody to go to. So I'm going to now share my screen. Hold on one second. Get in presenter mode. Okay. Okay. All right. So I started off looking into your legal landscape and seeing, I've known since, like Mindy said, we've been Having conversations since last year. So I've kind of looked into the West Virginia landscape and kind of came up with first some questions. Did you know? Um, Here's where West Virginia kind of lies in the cannabis news. Unfortunately, CDC shows that West Virginia had more fatal fentanyl overdoses per capita than any other state in the nation. However, according to Normal Organization, there was 30% of all drug-related arrests reported last year were marijuana related. You look at Normal's kind of dashboard that they keep an eye on every state, and looking at the arrest, you can see right here 30%. All drug-related arrests reported for any given year or specific to marijuana. And I use cannabis, but a lot of states still use marijuana. And then I couldn't find any specific numbers on how many cannabis convictions West Virginia has expunged, but right now the hot topic is expungement and pardons. It's being talked about. We are very concerned because anybody that's coming out of incarceration, we get calls. Like I said, we're a national organization. We get about 300 to 500 calls and chats on our own homepage and emails a month asking us questions. And we keep lots of resources so we can at least be a safe place for people to come to say, hey, where can I get information? So, we want to be able to service anybody asking about real science and where do they go for resources? And that's what we are. As registered nurses, we are a resource and educational platform. So I'll tell you a little about Leaf 411 here. Again, I'm Catherine Golden. I am an RN. So I created Leaf 411 with our mission to provide knowledge that was evidence-based. So anything a registered nurse talks about has to be evidence-based. So we look at the evidence, we provide that. We wanted to make sure that we were available and accessible to everyone. So we have a free hotline, and then we have a nurse guidance call center. We identified the problem years ago that seniors were actually our fastest growing demographic. We were focused on them in the beginning, and now it's grown to just about every demographic that has questions. The consumers are misinformed. There's a lot of misinformation online. We like to talk about that and guide people to the more factual information. People in the industry don't know that knowledgeable cannabis clinicians exist, that there are actually cannabis doctors, cannabis nurse practitioners, practices that people can go to and get information. And medical professionals. Unfortunately, there are a lot of Western medicine clinicians that still haven't taken on learning about cannabis medicine. It's a new specialty. So we wanted to provide a service to outsource and bring their questions to us so we can turn around and provide an educated consumer back to the medical professionals. I developed this, number one was accessibility. I knew that people wouldn't have access to smartphones. They may not be digital natives. We have gotten calls from people that have been unhoused and asking questions about cannabis. We talk to anyone, even if they're talking about illegal purchases. Why that could be a problem, why it's not tested, and very open and honest about that. So we've had people calling us from landlines, from ranches out in the middle of the country. So I always wanted to start with just a phone line, but we have accessibility all over. We have a mobile site. You can reach us a number of ways. Affordability is number one. Being a nonprofit, every hotline call is free. It'll always be free. But then we have scheduled guidance calls that we ask for a $25 donation if someone can afford it. If they're experiencing financial hardship, all they do is have to leave us that message on our free phone line, and we get right to them within 24 to 48 business hours. We address fears, we build trust, and answer questions. We talk about cannabis and hemp, the difference between a dispensary product and an online hemp product or a gas station product. I think this is very important for anyone exiting the prison system. We have people that call us and say, okay, it's legal now in my state, so I can use, right? And we say, well, we have to educate you about what's in that product. if you are being tested for THC, and it's something that's prohibited for a job, prohibited for any challenge that you have, um, even using a federally legal hemp product that you can purchase online will have may have traces of THC. So the hemp products online are were designed, or the thought of it when it was created, when the hemp bill was passed, was that these were going to be products that were non-impairing. Unfortunately, it's an unregulated market, and that's not true. There's a lot of online hemp products that you can have sent to your home that if you take a full dropper, you're getting about 1 to 2 milligrams of THC. So we educate everyone as you've got to look at the labels. So if we provide that education, directional support. We talk about serving sizes, product labeling. That's number one when we get people that are completely um, uh, uneducated about what their cannabis landscape looks like in their state. And number one, a safe zone. Nurses are the most trusted profession for the past 22 years now. We get people that just, I started anonymous hotline thinking people would want to not disclose information about themselves, and that I was completely wrong about that. As soon as they hear we're a cannabis nurse, guards come down. They're very open about their use, about their any use, any drug use, and we tell them, we guide them with no judgment, and this is a very safe place. You can just kind of divulge other drug history, so we can really talk to you about why people are why the science is there, why you shouldn't be consuming. Even for anyone under the age of 21, they come to us typically with their parents. If their parent is concerned about their teenage use, we gladly talk to a group of people on the phone and say, this is why you really shouldn't be using until your brain is fully formed. Science is showing, this is why they're 21 and over is labeled as safe use, safer use, and we educate about safe consumption. So we're a very safe space, and we educate about safe consumption. Here's what our website looks like. They can click the Let's Talk button. We have a leaf library. We have blogs about lots of different cannabis topics. And here's our free phone line. Voicemails available 24/7. They can leave us a message anytime. We have a search bar, a leaf library that has frequently asked questions, additional resources. So this is where I'm definitely going to put honest jobs, because we have support groups, we have crisis lines, we have medical marijuana card resources. So we have it listed by state. We'll have West Virginia on there. We have all your tabs as to where you can find information that pertains just to your state, where all that cannabis information lies. And you can search different topics. If you want to search for pain, if you want to search for cancer, you just type that in the search box, and we update it as frequently as we can, the latest information by year. Under frequently asked questions, you can see an example here. We have a compassion care program. So that's how Mindy and I met, was through our affordability program. Like I said in the beginning, cannabis is not covered by insurance, whether it's a clinician's appointment or the medicine itself. It's very hard to afford, and this is why people do turn to the illegal market, is because they can buy it cheaper. But as we explain to the people that call us, that it's not tested, you don't know what's in it, you don't know anything about that product. So we try to educate them about what they could possibly use, but always go back either to their their clinician and ask them if it's something that is safe for them. So we guide them, and we have updated guided cannabis laws around the world. We have states listed. We have all kinds of links and resources where they can get information. Some of the questions we get answered: can I add cannabis to my regimen? How do I know it's working? Do I need to tell my doctor? Absolutely yes. And how do I know it's safe? So there are products that somebody who has is going to be tested for THC, a product they can use, which is called an isolate. An isolate is just that one compound of the plant. So you can purchase CBD isolate. So we do educate the anybody from the military or anyone exiting, incarceration, or anybody that's being job tested for THC, that there are products on the market, but it's still, you have to look at the label, you have to know it's a trusted company. There's, like I said, the hemp market is not regulated, so you have to be there is worry to see if what they put on the label is accurate. So there are what they call certificate of analysis that we educate and can help someone read and tell them how to get that certificate of analysis from an online product. If they don't have a certificate analysis available to the public, then we say that's not a trusted manufacturer. You should only purchase from trusted manufacturers that readily have that information available to the public. We have, as a nonprofit, we have many programs trying to address a public need. So we have the free and hotline and the nurse guidance calls, community education and outreach. So we do go to facilities and we teach about Cannabis 101. We do it in 30 minutes segment or an hour, depending on what that facility likes or requires, for nonprofits, for anyone at all that wants to have a licensed medical professional come and tell, share evidence-based education with our community. Affordability program right now, it is on a pause because we just don't have the funding to hire the additional staff it was taking to facilitate those different pieces of the puzzle, because as you know, manufacturers have to be in the state that the dispensary is in. So if we were going to do affordability program for West Virginia, which Mindy and I talked about, when we tried to get any of the physicians that were listed as a medical cannabis physician to offer a reduced price for their cards, because they're usually around $200 just to get a medical cannabis card. We were helping medical cannabis patients acquire them for $50. So, but we have to get the clinician to agree to that. And unfortunately, I had none of the West Virginia clinicians email me back wanting to participate. So, so right now the program's on hold around the country, though, because when I launched it, a couple of years prior, we had it, and it was about, maybe 100 people applying for an affordability program to find out where there's low cost cards, access, and product. Within 3 months of relaunching it, we had over 1,000 people across the country say, I can't afford my medicine, I can't afford a card. So it just grew so much, and we just don't have the staff to handle that. So we're working on that. We're hoping as soon as our funding increases this year, we can relaunch that and make that available to people in different states. But we do have those resources on that Compassion Care link. So they can look at all the hemp companies and any resources to medical card facilitators that can help them get a reduced cost on their card. And then we help with research. So we have universities and healthcare facilities that reach out to us that want to help us help them with our consumer data. We take non-identifying demographic information from each of our callers if they want to disclose that, gender and location, and that's what researchers want to know, what consumers are truly using. And, Relief 411 has the answers. We're anonymous and trusted if that's what you prefer. And we have information on our website. So that's a little bit about us. Does anybody have questions I can answer? Okay. Sorry, I can't. Trying to open this.
I just want to say, I think having an affordability option and also having the access for people to be able to call and get that medical resource in West Virginia would be phenomenal. I think marijuana arrests are something that should not be happening, considering that our jails are almost at double capacity, and that as of December 7th, North Central alone, got 228 mattresses so people could live on the floor. And I know for a fact that we have, from where I sit, that we have people incarcerated, and you know, marijuana is the possession charge. And the other thing was that when we started working on this, that I really started learning and trying to educate others on, is the fact that this is a poor people problem, because that's the people that can't afford it. When you looked at the statistics of California, and the people that have access to be able to afford the medical marijuana are all upper middle class or higher income levels. That's the population of people that have access to it. They're the people that can afford, the doctor fees, they can afford the whatever the state's licensing happens to be, and then afford the product itself. So it is significantly cheaper to get it from the street than it is from the dispensary. Even if you make it past that hurdle of obtaining the card. And a lot of people that we serve, at least I serve, can't even, they may very well qualify, but they can't make it through the process of getting that card. And there's also other barriers that I think we from reentry understand. Well, transportation, ID, birth certificate, social security card, all of those, you have to have all these other ducks in a row before you can even get to the part of let's get my medical marijuana card, so that way I can get the medicine I need. I also think the question line for senior citizens, like if it was something my grandmother was using, I would want to know that, like, grandma's not asking Uncle Joe about her marijuana, that grandma has a place to call because she's on all these other meds for whatever she's got going on. That she can call and get some legitimate answers and recommendations. So I just think Leaf 411's amazing, and I hope that West Virginia can start to kind of get on this bandwagon of promoting safe and healthy use and affordable access. So thank you very much for presenting. I will ask Catherine, can you put the website, if you didn't do it already, maybe I missed it. Can you put the website and your contact info in the chat box?
Sure.
mind?
Yeah, I have it in there, but I can repeat that. That's no problem.
Okay. Next up, we have the reentry on the agenda. I had some stuff to go over for reentry. Some of the people that are some of the key players in that aren't here today for the meeting for us to go over that. But we did get the hall, Fitzsimmons Hall, booked for May 16th for the reentry simulation. We may need some volunteers. Tentatively, we're looking at a reentry simulation happening around 10 a.m. Jeremy, I'll let you answer too, if you guys are still able to do a lunch and learn right around the noon marker for that.
To find more information out probably this morning to make
Okay.
sure. Cortland just got back in the office and he has a meeting with our finance person to see if we're able to provide that or not.
Okay. Thank you. And then a second round of simulation ballpark, the 1 o'clock time range. And then if enough peers are interested and will need the ethics credits, Preston with WVU Medicine is willing to do a 1 hour ethics close to the end of that simulation, so peers can get that while they're there. That's just kind of a rundown of some of the things we're working on getting set into place for that simulation. Another bonus is we had the first pet fostered a few weeks ago in the community. People kind of came together. We have a pup getting fostered right now. So his human could go to treatment and do inpatient. So far, everything is going well. So hopefully that encourages other people to, if you can't foster a pet, but at least spread the word that, hey, this is a need and we need to start looking into maybe some solutions for that. That would be great. Does anyone have anything new or any questions? Anyone have any suggestions? Anything they'd like to see at a meeting maybe next month? Any community events? Yes. Jeremy posted in the chat box, the Traumatic Brain Injury Conference is coming up March 27th, and it's at the Camp Dawson Event Center. He also put in the link, the Eventbrite registration for that. I'll be there, so if you want to visit me, you can always come visit me.
Also free for anyone with a brain injury or the caregiver or students. That's also free for attendees.
I think we also have, unless something's changed, I think there's still also the March 8th in Flatwoods. I think it is if I'm looking correctly, it's the Heal Our Land Conference, and I think it's for women, correct? Are you familiar with that one, Krisha? Is that one?
It has been moved till April.
So it's been moved. I need to
So
break
it's been moved to April, so we just talked about that on a staff meeting just a little bit ago. So I will send that out here again in just a little while.
Also, oh, go ahead.
Also, April is Second Chance or Second Look month. So if we can think of something that we would like to do as a council for April, to, I won't say celebrate's not the right word, honor. So, if we want to like talk about something for April for that, or focus your keynote speaker maybe on someone with lived experience and some second chance opportunities they've had.
All right, and then I will say the April 24th, there is an adverse childhood experience training going on at Steptoe and Johnson. If you get on, I believe it should be shared on Eventbrite, but if you also connect with the FRN, they're sharing information to the trainings that are being put on. So if anyone's interested, they could sign up one of those two locations, either contacting the FRN from Mon County, or I believe it's on Eventbrite, it's the other place that is posted. And the pet foster program, can I share that? So no one has set up a program yet. It's kind of just the beginning stages of advocacy. I'll share the flyer that I have for it of hey, we need this, and trying to encourage community members to start looking into that. So the pet that's been fostered, it was strictly some of this awareness was created. People started having a conversation. Someone needed treatment, and then someone was like, "Hey, I'll volunteer. I'll foster." Re-entry simulation. Once we have all of the kinks worked out to make sure we know who's on what's base for the re-entry simulation, we're going to send out a sign-up page for that, and we might even send out a request for volunteers if we need them. So that'll get sent out. I'll do my best to flood that as many places as I can once all the details are set in stone. And then let me try to see if I could get this pets and peers. I'm not always the quickest with technology. Let's see. Amy, I will send you the flyer. I can resend the flyer out and then I can make sure I get it to you, Amy. And if I don't write that down, then I will remember to do it, so I'm writing it down. All right, if no one has anything, then of course, next month we have our Rancher Council meeting again. It's always the second Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. Let's see, March 12th, that's the day for next month. If anyone has any ideas or any interest, anyone that wants to speak, call me, email me, and I will try to incorporate that into what everybody wants to see and hear and learn about. Thanks for your time today, guys. I'll let everyone get back to work.
Thank you.